So the first supplement that I make sure my dogs get every single day is Green Rover, and for two reasons. First of all, there's a lot of fermented greens in here and sea greens, and they're a really, really rich source of trace minerals, which are hard to get into your dog's diet. But the biggest reason is because Green Rover has a good amount of sulforaphane in it, and that comes from the freeze-dried broccoli sprouts that are in it. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and if you're on YouTube, click the alert notification. Sulforaphane is a potent NRF2 activator. What is NRF2? It is an anti-inflammatory pathway that is super, super important for your dog. Inflammation, chronic inflammation, is the core cause of virtually all chronic disease in your dog. Cancer, allergies, joint disease, organ disease, it doesn't matter. It is all nothing but chronic inflammation. The only difference is the organs that it affects. So what sulforaphane does is it activates a potent anti-inflammatory pathway called NRF2. You might have heard of ozone therapy. The reason why ozone is so healthy for your dog is because it's also an NRF2 activator. So for that reason, I make sure that my dogs get sulforaphane and for me, Green Rover every single day because it's convenient. So the other supplement that I make sure that my dogs get every day is Immunity, and Immunity is our 7 mushroom blend. Just like, you know, there's studies that show that dogs that eat veggies every day have a significant decrease in the risk of cancer. The same is with human research anyway, and mushrooms. We know that mushrooms are potent immune modulators. So that means they can help reduce allergy symptoms. Their beta-glucans have an affinity for cancer and really, really help modulate the immune response that can cause tumor activity. And, you know, and it's just, there's so many reasons to give mushrooms every single day, and my dogs get them almost without fail. So that's my second must-have for my dogs. The third, for me, is Safe Sea. Now, a lot of you give fish oil or squid oil or krill oil. The reason why I made Safe Sea and why I choose to give my dogs Safe Sea is because I feel that it's my responsibility to make sure that I don't pull wild species from the ocean. The oceans are close to collapsing, and I think it's irresponsible for us to pull things from them. All of the ingredients in Safe Sea are completely sustainable. We have green-lipped mussels in here, but they're actually farmed, and the reason why you can safely farm green-lipped mussels is because they just pull phytoplankton out of the water, which tends to grow out of control and cause algae blooms in New Zealand. And then it also has ahi flower in it, which is completely tested for pesticide residue. And the cool thing about ahi flower and green-lipped mussel is that now you're giving your dog 3 important anti-inflammatory fats, whereas fish oil just has 1. So fish oil really only has EPA and DHA. DHA is for brain and nerve health, and EPA is that anti-inflammatory fat that you want from fish oil or krill oil or squid oil. Safe Sea, because of the green-lipped mussel oil, also has another anti-inflammatory fat called ETA, and the ahi flower gives it a third anti-inflammatory fat that only comes from plants, by the way, called GLA. So we all know it's important to balance our dog's omega-6 and omega-3 fats, and that's why I give my dog Safe Sea every single day. By balancing those fatty acids, it again decreases inflammation in my dogs, and that's what it's all about. Now, here's some other supplements that I give my dogs. This one, a lot of people ask me, so I'm going to pull this one in. A lot of people ask me the MCT oil that I use for my dogs, and it's this. Nutiva, I don't know, I think it's available in the US, I'm in Canada, but I don't give my dogs MCT oil a lot. but in the winter months when the furnace goes on and the air is really dry, they tend to get itchy. So I'll just increase the amount of oil that I put on their food, and I'll do that with either just plain old olive oil, which is a really nice antioxidant-rich oil for your dog, or MCT oil. Now, the reason why I choose this brand is because it does not have lauric acid. Almost all the lauric acid has been removed. That's important because lauric acid, which comes from coconut oil, it's about half of coconut oil by weight, is inflammatory to the gut lining and can cause leaky gut and chronic inflammation. So, Alice wants her dinner. So in the winter months, I do give my dogs MCT oil, but it's important that it does not have the lauric acid in it. Most days, my dogs will get Guts and Glory. This is freeze-dried New Zealand organs and glands. Now, you can actually see that there's a fair amount of organ meat in the food that I give my dogs, but I can't get all the organs and I can't get them all the time. I can get liver, I can get kidney, I can get brain and sweetbreads and pancreas, but I can't always get them all. So I just like to add a little bit more Guts and Glory just to make sure that my dogs get a wider range of organ meats. For two reasons. First of all, organs are Mother Nature's multivitamins, so they're rich in vitamins and minerals. But second is the concept of treat like with like. If your dog has joint pain, you would give him glucosamine. Glucosamine comes from joints. If your dog has pancreatitis, you would give him enzymes, and those enzymes are manufactured in the pancreas, so you would just give your dog pancreas. So by feeding organ meats, you can help keep your dog's corresponding organs healthy. So my dogs don't get this every single day, but they get it most days. It's an important part of their diet, and if I'm traveling and I'm giving my dog a commercially prepared raw diet, those are really short on organ meat, so I make sure they get it every single day when they get a commercial diet. Now, if I were feeding my dog not raw and I was feeding them a cooked diet or kibble, these are the two supplements that I would make sure my dog had every single day. And the first is Protect. I'll probably give Protect to my dogs 3 times a week. That's because I don't live in the city. I live in the country. I know the property and the places that my dogs are exposed to. I know there's no toxic chemicals around here. I'm surrounded by forest. The only thing behind me is an organic vegetable farm. So I know that my dogs are pretty safe from toxins in their environment, or as safe as they can be. They drink my well water, and I make sure that nothing is leaching into that well, and I test it very extensively for heavy metals. So Protect is just a basic everyday probiotic. What's cool about Protect is that it's got soil-based probiotics. So these guys are really, really hardy because they can form a protective coating or shell around them when they're exposed to the gut environment, which, let's face it, kills most probiotics. So because more of it can survive, you don't need to give your dog a whole lot, and you can know that it goes right through the small intestine into the colon where it belongs, and then once it's in the colon, then these probiotic species are going to help grow the natural innate probiotic bacteria species that your dog needs in his colon. It also has Saccharomyces boulardii, which is a beneficial friendly yeast. And then on top of that, the other thing about Protect is that we put a lot of ingredients in here to help chelate and remove toxins and heavy metals from the body. This was formulated by my friend Dr. Patricia Jordan, and so we have a really high quality humic and fulvic acid, bentonite clay, chlorella, and then other ingredients that are going to help remove those toxins from your dog every single day. Let's face it, if your dog is eating kibble or processed food, and especially if he's eating grains, he's exposed to a lot more toxins than dogs living in the country and eating raw food. So if I lived in the city and I was feeding a commercial diet, I would make sure that my dog got this like only every day. Most of my dogs get green eggs. This is our joint supplement, and this is just really, really simple. It's just green lip mussel powder with lots and lots of fat in it. That's important. NEM, which is eggshell membrane powder, poria mushroom, which has a huge affinity for the joints, and really, really high quality curcumin. So I have a couple of oldies, and even my young dogs tend to get green eggs because it is just a natural food-based source of glucosamine, and with large breed dogs, it's not a bad idea to just make sure they get this most days. And then finally, again, if I was feeding a kibble or a heated food, the biggest problem, I don't know if it's the biggest problem, but one of the many major problems with processed diets is that they're antioxidant poor. There's things that build up in your dog's body called free radical, and these are just unstable atoms and molecules that have an uneven number of electrons, and this is what makes them unstable. So they tend to fly around your dog and they'll steal electrons from their neighbors and making their neighbors unstable. The problem with these free radicals is that they love to steal electrons from the fats that protect and make up your dog's cell membranes. So what happens is the cells break down really quickly and really easily, and this is what causes premature aging, chronic inflammation, and organ disease in your dog. So it's really, really important to keep these free radical species, to keep their numbers under control, and you do that with antioxidants. Kibble, because it's cooked, is very, very poor in antioxidants because heating destroys them. So the cool thing about Red Rover is that it's as basic gets. It's just basically freeze-dried fruits and astaxanthin, which is a really, really powerful antioxidant that you can just give your dog every single day. And the blueberries and the raspberries, the cranberries, and the apples with the skins on, they're all organic, and they're good sources of polyphenols, which are antioxidants. And the apple skins are in there because it's a good source of quercetin, which we know helps combat allergies, inflammation, and itchiness in dogs with allergies. So I hope that helps. There's a typical meal for my dog. Here's the 4 supplements that go with my meals, 3 supplements that go with my meals every day. And, you know, this is the supplements that I do a couple of times a week. And then in the winter, I just make sure that I do a double dose of Safe C, and I make sure they've got some organic olive oil and some MCT oil to keep their coats smooth and keep their skin non-itchy. I hope that helps. And listen, if you have any questions or comments, and I'm sure you will, just leave it in the description below. Yeah, I get all of the freaks. So anything that's damaged comes to me, and I use it for my dogs. But leave a comment below. I'm super happy to discuss the supplements that I give my dogs, and I'll try to help you out with the supplements that your dogs get. Thanks for watching.